Good evening, you lovely people. Thank you for joining us. I am Matt
Hello.
from Foulball Productions. That is Lindsey.
Hello.
This show is titled Matt and Lindsey.
Pretty
Appropriately.
genius.
Yeah,
Right?
pretty good. Pretty good.
Really
Thanks for
covers
joining.
the whole thing. Just
Right.
Matt
It
and Lindsey.
encapsulates the spirit of what we do here at
Okay.
Matt and Lindsey. Matt and Lindsey are both here. And that's the whole thing. That's it.
That's it.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight. We got a doozy of a show for you. I brought a rather obscure title that I think always takes a little convincing when I recommend it to people, but it's Castlevania on Netflix, the anime. Why
is that obscure?
Oh, because when I brought it up, you A, didn't know what it was, and B, were like, I don't think I'm going to watch that. And I really had to push you to get into it.
Yeah. Well,
So
once I went on Netflix, I realized that they've been recommending me that show for like forever. And I was
so
like,
fucking good. That's what I brought. It's still pretty obscure. I mean, it's not exactly like if I bring that up, if you asked, like,
I think it's in like the top 10 on Netflix. I'm just
definitely
saying.
not. Definitely not. I'm telling you, they haven't had a new season in like a year. There's no way it's in the top 10. Anyway, I would say if you asked 100 random people if they have heard of Castlevania on Netflix, I bet you'd get 3 positives, maybe. It's a very obscure show. Anyway, I brought that, and Lindsey brought the Miyazaki classic Howl's Moving Castle. So that's going to be fun. We're going to have that conversation. It's going to be really brilliant. Brilliant indeed. But before we do that, I must cordially ask you, the legend that you are, to please smash that like button down below. Give us that praise, that positivity, that love to spread the word, spread the channel. And also go and subscribe to the channel. Subscribers are climbing. We're at 28 right now. So I'm genuinely grateful for everyone who has subscribed. Started this when me and Lindsey started doing this, I think there were 5 subscribers. And that's, 5 times as many and in just a few months. And I'm like genuinely grateful for every single person who subscribes, truly. And more content coming down the way. We a new member joined the team recently. So we're going to have a new member of Foulball Productions. Going to start putting out a weekly show. It's mostly like political entertainment news and stuff like that. His style's a little different than mine, but I think you guys are gonna like him. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. The show's called It's Wendell. So just keep an eye out for him. He's an interesting fellow. Well, hello, dear. How are you?
Pretty good. I was napping up until about an hour ago. So good day. Lazy. How about you?
Pretty good. I got off my ass and was like productive today. It worked out, which took some doing, but got it done. Then I watched a bunch of like interviews and stuff about the content we watched or what we're doing today. Man, so the other night I was like after Saturday, I had Saturday night free, and I just started I was like cleaning and then just like dropped into like watching things. And I was like, I'll pop on Castlevania in the background, like while I'm just chilling. Oh my God, I forgot how unbelievably good that show is. I mean, I got so hooked into it. I had to force myself to not just binge the rest of the whole like series. What'd you think? What'd you think of the show?
Yeah, it was really good. I'm in the second season right now. So
isn't it amazing how short the first season is? It's like it's over and you're like, it's over?
Yeah, it was very quick.
Yeah.
It's not even like an hour, is it?
No.
Oh, yeah, it is an hour.
I guess, yeah, it's like an hour.
There's 4 episodes that are 20 minutes, so it's like
but
an hour and 20 minutes.
The first time I watched it, I guess I watched it all the way through, and I was like, hey, I thought there was a second season. And then it was like, oh, I just watched the second season. That was the second season that I just finished. I was like, oh my God. And I guess it had just come out like a few days before. So I was like, oh, well, that was lucky because I would have been pissed off if I just got the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's your favorite character?
I don't know. It's kind of a tough one. They're I don't know.
I'm
I don't know.
You hanging until you come up with something interesting to say, because this is a co-hosted show. So we'll just sit here.
Your name is first, so I feel like that means you have to do more, right?
I always do.
Well, wow, rude. Say how you real feel right now, okay?
Just kidding, Lindsay. Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, have fun.
Mr. Dracula is a pretty interesting character because
he's great.
One we know and love, especially during these Halloween times.
Do you know who plays Dracula?
No.
Actor's name Graham McTavish. How great of a name is that, by the way? His name's Graham McTavish. That's awesome. That sounds like a historical figure. But he is known for, not primarily, but partially, he's known for his role in The Hobbit. He plays
as.
Let's just, because I don't even know.
Okay.
There you go, Graham. I mean, it's that movie. I can't even. You know how we both feel the same way. What's going on in the background there, Sugar Plum? Sounds like there's some got some house guests. This guy.
What have we been hearing?
I don't know. I hear like a little kid's voice. I think it Dwalin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in. No, I don't know.
No,
I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah. I mean, I know him from. He's the Saint of Killers in what's the name of that show? In Preacher, which was like a pretty good show for a little while, and then I kind of lost interest. But he was pretty cool in that. He's pretty scary, actually. He plays like this. It's like this guy who's like lost his soul, got cast down to hell, and now he's like pursuing the preacher. Pretty cool. It was a good story, but it just kind of got a little, I don't know, I got bored with it. It was fun for a while. But the other guy who plays Trevor Belmont.
What's his name?
Richard Armitage. He is... Oh, wait, sorry. He is the lead, or one of the leads, in The Hobbit.
Wait, where is he?
I'll show you right here. He's this guy. He's Thorin.
Oh, weird.
Right?
There's like two guys from The Hobbit?
Two guys from The Hobbit. Yeah. I mean, he's like basically the protagonist next to Bilbo. This guy.
Yeah.
This guy.
The prince or whatever he is.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, what I love about the show is I think the writing is just exceptional. Like I'm so captivated by like everything that they like all the backstories. Like when you meet Trevor and he's just like a drunk.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a fuck up, but then like this kind of like growing like self-respect and like fighting abilities come out, and like all of a sudden he's like really cool.
Yeah. And he's like a Belmont. And they have this whole like trove of like vampire fighting stuff, which is crazy.
Oh, did you got that far? You went back to the Belmont residence?
Yeah. So that's season 2, I guess.
Yeah. I think that, yeah. I
okay.
Haven't seen it in a while, but that's season 2. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I find funny is like animes are definitely, I don't know, they like follow like a certain kind of, I don't even know what the right word is, but like they all kind of have this like, it somehow moves really quickly and really slowly at the same time. Like I don't even know how to like explain that, but like in like all the fight scenes, they seem like they're really drawn out. Like, you know what I mean? For such a short episode.
Oh, that's a good point. I think that's great writing. Because I find like old episodes of Rick and Morty, like the first few episodes of Rick and Morty, like it's amazing how long they feel, but in a good way. Like they're very rich. Like you think back like, wow, so much happened.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's really efficient writing. Like that's like every scene, every moment matters, and you dropped in. And as an audience member, you're just you're never really out of the world, so you feel so consumed by everything. I mean that's what I think. I don't know if that, but that's my, because it's like, it's true. Like, so much seems to happen in each episode. Like, so much complexity and character and exploration and world building. You're like, that was only a few episodes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it goes by so quick.
So quick. I mean, it's amazing how fast, like, I can binge that particular show.
Well, yeah, like, definitely. Just because of how short it is, for one.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, but it's not. I mean, there are other short shows that I don't want to binge. You know what I mean? It's not just the length. It's like, that makes it easier. That's the lubrication for sure. But it's like, at the end of every episode, I'm like, oh, I want the next one. I want the next one. Like I said, even the other night, like when I put on like the first 4, which are so good. What do you think? So what do you think of like the whole Castlevania story? Not just like it's good. Like, what do you like? How does it strike you?
It's definitely inventive. Like, I like that he was kind of this like monster, and then, he meets his wife, and she kind of like reforms him, and then like. Yeah, it's just like the whole thing is really interesting. And it is kind of curious that he didn't just like change her. Maybe that has to do with the whole like tortured soul not wanting to like take away her humanity type thing since she's so like good or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely. And it definitely, I feel like, also fit like with the times, the fact that they just immediately thought she was like a witch because she had more knowledge.
I thought that was really clever the way they used that, because she shows up. I like the way when she shows up to the castle and he just like does like his threatening like Dracula thing like right away, and she's unnerved by it, but not necessarily scared. She's not like running for the exits, but she's uncomfortable by it. But the whole like her saying like, I'm not like, I want to know science. Like I want to study and be a healer, because it's like her soul is to do that. And I like the way that they use that, and the church with their kind of blind. It was interesting because it wasn't just devotion. It's not just piety. There was something about the bishop's like desire for power that I think really informed their revulsion of anything scientific. Right. Yeah. It was, that's witch stuff. I don't need to know anymore. It's witch stuff. It's not part of the church. It's witch stuff. Get rid of it, because that is the ultimate power in medieval times, is the church.
Yep.
And I love the way that they played on that. And I also love the way, like, I think in this story, there is a God, because the demons come from hell.
Oh.
And the one demon, when he gets to the bishop's, like, the pulpit, and he's like, God, you make God puke, but we love you. And then he's like, give us a kiss. And he just like rips his face off. I thought that was tremendous. I really felt like the spiritual power in that, to be completely honest. Like I was like, wow, this writing is like on a level. And I don't know, the characters have so much depth and complexity. Like, they're all real people.
Yeah. Definitely.
They all feel like they go off in every different direction. Belmont being like this kind of, this drunk fuck up who's like, on a path to redemption. And I like the speaker girl. What's her name? Sypha. She's fun. I like her story. I like her kind of like tough as nails, kind of like speaker thing is so cool.
Yeah, I do like her a lot. She's funny.
Did you know that Alucard is Dracula backwards?
Oh. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. It's Dracula backwards. And it's I think that was in one of the movies. I think that was in one of the Dracula movies from like back in the day.
What do you mean? Like as another character, or?
Yeah, I just think that was something that they
used it.
Maybe it was one of the games.
Huh.
Let me see, because it had existed before. I guess maybe okay, maybe it was from it was from the Dracula game, not one of the movies, because these are all based on video games.
The Castlevania is based on video games?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a whole video game series.
Got you. So did they have a similar storyline in the video game?
Well, interesting that you ask, because it's what do you call it? Sorry. It's based on the third game in the series. But the series goes back to like the 80s. But there's not. I was listening to the guy who wrote it talk about it today. His name is. He's a comic book writer. Castlevania. Warren Ellis is his name. He's a pretty famous comic book artist from England. And he wrote it, and he was talking about it. When he started watching, or we started like doing his research on the source material. I mean, they said the third game, there's only like 10 lines of dialogue. It's not really a very complex story. But what he said was he found that from like between like Wikipedia and all these online like fan forums, he was able to like piece together like the lore and all the different story. And that was where he got most of the ideas. Like the source that became his source material was all the fan. I know. I was like, that was so punk rock.
Yeah.
Because I've learned so much just from fan sites and fan collectives, you know, like whether like this, either this show or I watched a bunch of videos today on Howl's Moving Castle that were from like, you know, passionate fans. And I was like, hell yeah. Because like I'm a fan, you know what I mean? Like that's like I love these things. I love like talking about them, and you know, the people go that extra step to go online and share information and debate the nuance and like who's a la carte and all this. Like I love that, and that it informed someone, you know, who's the head writer of a Netflix television adaptation. That was really inspiring. I was like, that's badass. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely and a good way to like obviously get people interested already, because they were already having these ideas, so they're going to already be interested. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a built-in fan base, and with that, you know, it's like you can almost only disappoint them. You know what I mean? Like for so many other adaptations, it's like you're pretty much just going to disappoint the fan base. I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's like we have like the Lord of the Rings adaptation, which was made people very grateful and happy, you know, but they went so far out of their way in that particular franchise to honor the source material. But so many others don't. And even when they do, I don't like that one. I don't like this one, this, that, and the other. You're taking a risk anyway. But I think that was him doing that. Warren Ellis doing that with Castlevania was the smartest thing he could have done.
Yeah.
Because it was it's a good story, as you could tell. There's a lot there, and B, it's like you got this. You obviously discovered that there's a passionate fan base for this video game franchise. You know, throw them a bone.
Wait, what do you mean throw them a bone?
Like treat them with respect.
Oh,
you know, honor what they like. I think what happens is people get a little like, I don't know, caught up. You know what I mean? Like they have the opportunity to tell something in some story, some universe, right? Some intellectual property, whether it be Star Trek or Castlevania or whatever, right? People are like, well, it's my opportunity now to just tell my story. And they forget that there are how many thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people who already love this story and love the franchise. And you're just one more person on that journey of storytellers that you do have a responsibility to the stories that came before it and the fans that keep this franchise alive, because without the fans, there is no franchise. There is no built-in audience that you can sell to.
Yeah, true.
So if you just disregard their expectations and their desires, you know, why, what are you even doing? Why even do this then? You're just like basically using them. You're using your built-in audience to promote something that isn't what they signed up for.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's like, I don't want to like pat myself on the back, but I have another channel that I release, like, or I used to put out like Opie and Anthony, like the radio show, like their compilations or like little kind of fan videos for them. And that channel has like 1,500 or like 2,000 subscribers, you know? But if I just started putting this stuff out on there, that would be really, they'd be like, who the fuck, what is this? Who are you? That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I want Opie and Anthony content, not because I want your stupid face. Right? So it's like, because you got to respect the people you're making things for. What, like, you know, put yourself in the shoes of the person you're making the thing for. What do you think they want?
Right.
Yeah, that's why. Anyway, long aside, back to Warren Ellis' respecting the fan. I love that he got the information from fans. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely adds like another layer for sure. Is there like a lime in your drink?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, because it's like a little.
That's funny. There's a hole in the glass.
Yeah. Anyway, I. It's funny because I've definitely watched other like vampire animes, so it's like a popular.
Have you ever seen Vampire Hunter D?
No.
It's really good.
Wait, Vampire Hunter D?
D, yeah.
No.
It's from the 80s. Really interesting animation style. Yeah, well, but it's anime though. Kind of, it doesn't really have that same kind of. It doesn't age the same.
Okay, I was gonna say.
But yeah, it's one of those kind of classics. I happen to really enjoy Vampire Hunter D. I think it's a manga, but like this is like the animation style. It's like this kind of like it's very big, very exaggerated, very dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, and you fight Dracula in it. Like he fights Dracula in it as well. And it's interesting too. He's also a half vampire.
Huh.
It's amazing how many times they do that. I mean, Blade was a half vampire. This guy's a half vampire. Alucard's a half vampire.
Blade?
Yeah, Blade.
From what?
From Blade.
What is that? A show? Bald?
Battle.
I love how that's a thing. Wait, what is that?
By someone's last name.
Oh.
Blade.
Okay.
You've never heard of this? Wesley Snipes came out in 98. You were alive.
I was 5.
You were alive.
I was 5.
I know, but you're like a semi-nerd, you know, who likes vampire shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just never heard of it. I don't know.
No. Well, it didn't age that well anyway. I didn't think so. I tried to watch it recently and I was like, this doesn't work. Oh, I guess, are they?
Oh, it's a Marvel one.
It might be a comic book. It might be a Marvel comic book. I honestly don't know.
Hey, go back down. It said it right there.
Oh, whoopsie. It's all gone now. There's nothing we can do about it, Lindsay. That information's lost to time. It's lost out there.
Gone forever.
Gone forever. Forever and ever. Nothing to be done about it. No.
No.
No. What do you think of the violence?
It was like intense sometimes.
Right.
One specifically, so nasty. I forget though. There was
when
just
the fucking demons first come down, they're murdering everyone.
Yeah.
Women, children.
And it's like guts. They like literally have like a little intestine.
It's awesome.
Oh.
There's a show called Metalocalypse. Have you ever seen that on Adult Swim?
I've heard of that.
It's funny, but it's got a similar tone. Very gothic, very dark, but it's comedic.
Yeah.
But
I've seen like an episode. Like
I like the first season a lot. But there's lots of really gory violence, but it's all played for a laugh. Like it's always like a joke. But I was like, this is like Metalocalypse without the punchline. It's just gore.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was like, so I loved it. It's so cool. Like, because it was just, I like that they weren't playing fucking games.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't. There was no bullshit. They'd like those demons would eat people's heads and shit. Like that's what was so cool. That scene. I'm trying not to say like as much. I realize I say like a lot. I'm trying to do less. I'm trying to say like less. I just thought it'd be funny if we had like a little like counter in the corner. Bing, 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 bing. No, but when the bishop guy, whenever that second in command in the church, when that demon comes in like that big, and he's like, no one's here to help you. Like it was so badass.
Yeah.
And I like that the stakes are so high. You know, it makes the show, it just makes everything feel so much more real. And like, I'm trying to remember if this is in the season. I'm sure it is. You met the two humans that work for Dracula, right?
Yeah.
Do we meet them in season 1? I feel like I don't know
Isaac
if we do.
and no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Isaac, what's the other guy's name?
I forgot.
He's the one played by Theo James, though.
Who's Theo James?
The guy that plays him?
Okay, but
he's in, I forget. I really forget what he's in, honestly. I just like know his face.
He's very handsome. He's
yeah.
married. He's
Really?
in Divergent.
Surprising.
Yeah, he's the same height as me too. Actually, I'm taller.
Oh, that's right, Divergent. I had to walk
No
out
big
of
deal. He's in
Sure.
Underworld Blood Wars.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And something else.
He kind of looks like James Franco.
That's what I was gonna say. That's like he kind of looks like almost like a mix between James Franco and then like the guy who plays Anakin.
He looks like a photoshopped James Franco.
Photoshopped. That's so mean.
He does. He just looks like they just kind of, you know, the little angles, they just sort of flattened him out, got a little more even. That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. They use like the pretty filter.
The pretty filter on James Franco.
Yeah. But I like that. I thought that was really complex. That there are two humans who are complicit in helping get rid of the human race. I like that.
Yeah, but one is kind of dumb. Like he gets, what's the word?
Manipulated.
Yeah, manipulated by the
Vampiress.
What's her name? Carmilla?
I don't know, but you're really moving along in that show because I feel like that doesn't happen until at least like halfway through.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. I like that you're really into it. I think that's fun.
Well, yeah, it's just easy to watch too, and it's like fast.
Really
like,
easy to watch.
Like, oh wait, now I want to know this. I want to know this.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that he like helped her actually he was just kind of dumb in that moment. I was like,
kind of dumb.
Yeah, like no, but really though, like, do you really think she's just like stupid.
I forgot because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the second season for a while. I think since the third season came out was the last time I watched it, which is, I don't know, maybe a year ago now. I forgot, but I do remember her tricking him, but also she had like leverage on him. Right?
Didn't she? After she tricked him.
Oh, okay.
Because he agreed with her and then like made it all happen to where they like all got like taken over by her army.
You know who I love?
She starts treating him like her
pet
basically, and he's like, how dare you talk to me this way, like like she's just like, I don't have to worry about how I talk to you now because you just did the bad thing too. So like
she's like royalty, right? Like she's like, you're like royalty. Because she's, you know, I kind of like that. Like the vampires are kind of like this regal, like royal family. Like they're fancier than everyone else. I like that. And they kind of look down on the humans and tolerate the humans. I like the inner politics of Dracula's circle. And I like that they are like, they have contrary goals, like contradictory goals, right? But they're still both evil, just in different ways.
The humans are evil, you mean?
No, the vampires, you know, like she's like, I don't really want to wipe out all the humans because I want to be able to eat them.
Yeah. But Dracula is actually like, no, like I just want to kill all the humans, and then
Yeah.
all you guys are gonna starve. Like that's
He's
his
like, I
whole
don't care. You can eat pigs, like whatever.
Yeah, no, but I think he literally just means to wipe out humans and vampires. Because if he wipes out the humans, then the vampires die.
No, they can eat animals. They can eat animals.
Oh, well, that's just gonna still ruin the world. Like they're gonna kill all the animals.
You think it won't be good overall? You know who I really like is Godbrand.
Who dies? Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks he died. I was so upset he died.
And then the guy's like sitting there with his ashes, like sending him off. Oh my
I was so pissed, God. I love that character is one of my favorites. What was it? What was the great line? I like boats. I'm a Viking, for God's sakes, or whatever.
Yeah.
We're supposed to like boats.
Yeah.
And he's just like he's just primal. You know, just kind of like one step above animal. He's just like, I don't care. I just want to kill and eat.
Yeah.
I like that. See, I like shows that take their minor characters and give them a lot of complexity like that. I think that's really fun.
Yeah.
It's a bummer though. It's a bummer.
Have, like, a lot of like complexity though. Like they go into a lot of different backstories with everyone. So.
No, I agree. But a lot of shows won't. I mean, I'm complimenting the show by saying that because a lot of shows won't treat their minor characters with such depth. They're forgettable. They're just there to serve the plot, or they're just a generic whatever. They're not, they're not a person. Whereas like shows like this and The Expanse, I always notice that with The Expanse, like even their day players, even the people who are like 5 and under, they like even those they have like arcs and change and character. It was just like, man, that's so good. That's such good writing. And Castlevania is the same way. It's like, yeah. You think you'll finish all the way through season 3? Yeah. It's a really good show. It's a really good story. It doesn't get weaker either. I think some people were reporting that season 3 was like inconsistent, but I didn't find that to be at all. I thought it was outstanding.
Well, good.
Yeah. The directors of the show are our 2 brothers. I watched them from the New York Comic Con panel last year. They nerdy as fuck. But I liked it. Like they were good nerdy guys. Like they had, you could tell that they're fans. The 2 brothers, they just grew up loving and obsessing over the video game series. So when the chance to direct the show comes their way, they jumped at the opportunity. They didn't miss it.
That's good.
So I was like, that's awesome. That's awesome. We need more fans. It's like, did you watch that video I sent you today of Nerdrotic talking about Lord of the Rings?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay, it was it's good. But I think like the problem that comes up in Hollywood a lot is that people get handed these franchises, right? Whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, anything. And they're not really fans of it,
No.
So they don't
make money off of it.
What's that?
They're just trying to make money off of it, especially because they're usually already have built-in fan bases, so they think they can kind of just like do whatever they want and they'll still make money. And a lot of times that's true.
It's not really true. You can't just do whatever you want. Like,
no, but at the same time, like as far as like them making money, like sometimes that will help like an opening weekend. Like whereas like if we didn't know this show, we're fans of it, we might not
but
care.
That's what they're exploiting. You know what I mean? That's the cushion that they have to exploit, is that there is a built-in fan base and they know no matter what they do, it will start by making money, but that doesn't translate long-term,
But like, I don't feel like they need long-term a lot of the time. Like, where else do they make money off of these movies except for usually like,
the initial.
If you're
doing something like Star Wars, when you're doing 3 movies, it really matters.
Well, yeah, true.
And most franchises, if you have a franchise, you're not one and doneing it.
Yeah.
You want to keep making money on this golden goose. But if you flip off the fans, They, it's like they tried to do that with Star Wars. Like they make the Forces female. They try to like nudge out all the old fans. It's like, oh, you mean the people that have kept this franchise alive since it came out? The reason it's profitable, you want to get rid of them?
I think we talk about Star Wars every single time.
That's okay with me. Fine with me. No, but it's relative. It's relative to the conversation. It's germane to the conversation because it's about honoring your fans, right? And what I was saying is that happens a lot. So whatever franchise, but it's super rare that a franchise gets, two passionate fans at the helm, which is like. And there's another guy who's involved, Adi Shankar, I think his name is. Adi Shankar, I think his name is. He's a producer of the show. And he was a big influence to bring in to make it more dark and gothic and violent, which I think was absolutely the right call. He also, it turns out he was a producer on Dread as well, which we talked about last week.
Yeah. Why did they need him though? Just to make it?
A lot of this is collaborative. I mean, making film and television, there's a lot of bases to cover. There's a lot of things that need to go into it, and you need multiple people doing multiple things. I mean, whether it comes down to, for something like this, hiring the right animators or the right animation house, right? You want to make sure they can match the vision.
Yeah.
Then you need a producer who can identify the right talent for the project. You can't just put anybody in a voice acting role and make it work. It needs to matter, right? But then you need to have someone who's got the relationships to put those people in that position, right? I mean, obviously being with Netflix helps, but not everything starts off with a studio right away. Sometimes you need to generate interest. Good creatives on every level are really important. So yeah, I mean, and also you might just not be that good at these other things. Like George Lucas, Star Wars again, but he's a terrible director. Like he's just not good with actors. He doesn't really know how to, well, I can't say he doesn't know where to put the camera, but his best movies are not the ones he directed.
Yeah.
He's just not good at these things. But you have to, that's why you gotta know your strengths. You gotta diversify, like where you put people, what you do. It's very important to have stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good they brought him on then.
All right.
Yeah. So how'd you like Howl's Moving Castle?
I didn't.
You didn't? Yeah.
It wasn't that I didn't like it. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I remember just having kind of a dull impression of the movie to begin with. I didn't quite remember exactly what it was that that I didn't like about it. But when I watched it this time, I was like,
oh, I thought you said you hadn't watched it before.
No, I had watched it. I just didn't remember it. I just didn't remember like really what it was about. There were certain things I remembered. Like I remembered Turn Up Head.
Yeah.
Like that stuck out. But the thing was, so you watched that video I sent you about the contrast with the books and the movies?
For Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I'm bad at watching movies people send me. I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, I'll watch that later. Like when I get it.
Yeah, just if we have a show that's going live in a few hours, just maybe do a little research. But it was really, because it's a book. I don't know if you know that. It's adapted from a book.
I actually didn't know that. Wow.
Adapted from a book, and the book and the video goes over the differences in the book versus the anime, which was pretty interesting. Like, for instance, and this was one of the things that I didn't like about it, was in the book, the main villain is the Witch of the Wastes, which I think is they should have stuck with, because that was one of my biggest problems, was like, I don't even quite know what the goal of this movie is. Like, it was high stakes with the witch, right? Because it was like, oh, it turned her into an old lady. Now she could never get out of this old lady thing, which,
yeah,
but also she didn't really seem to care that much. So it's kind of like, all right. But even so, that being there, like at times she would burst and have an outburst where she would like it was obvious she didn't want to be an old lady. But then like halfway through, that they basically reduce her to a retard. I mean, they just turn her mind. Nice doggy. They just make her a simpleton. That whatever that other the royal witch was.
Yeah.
So they like reduce her to like her age, and they put those light bulbs on her, whatever that did. And then she's just along for the ride. She's not a villain anymore. She's part of the team. And I was like, all right. And then there was no real protagonist. There's like a background war that we're kind of aware of, but we don't know. We're not really involved in it. We don't know who it's against or what the point of it is, really. We just know what's going on. And then I guess Howl is kind of degrading into maybe a monster, but we don't really quite get into that. It's just too vague. I just need like a little bit more of like, here's the hero, here's the obstacle, here's the goal, here's the obstacle, so on and so forth. Like, I don't know. I mean, call me like narrow-minded, but I just like the Western way of storytelling. I just like a hero's journey.
That's funny. Why is that so Western though?
Because I don't know enough about all literature. I don't know about, but I know that I've noticed at least a contrast in Japanese storytelling is it's not as linear like that a lot.
True.
Right? Like the other one too that we were talking about last week, Spirited Away, same thing.
Yeah, that's very true.
Which bothers me because if I don't feel like there's stakes, I'm not invested. I need to know what the character stands to lose if they don't kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're not always gonna die in every story. That's not.
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I meant like overcome their flaws and become better. Like that's excel. Like you know what I mean? Like that. I don't. That's to me the core of a lot of good storytelling is you grow, you fail a lot. You know what I mean? And then you get the grit in your stomach and you step up and you defeat the evil. Or whatever. You take a big swing at the evil and you learn your lesson. I know it's formulaic, but it works.
Yeah.
But, sell me on it. Talk to me about what you love about it.
I don't know. I think I was thinking about it. I think I keep bringing movies that I liked when I was younger. I mean, not that much younger, but definitely like a teenager. And
you're definitely not alone in this, by the way. I mean, this is a beloved film by all the research I did.
Yeah, it is. And that was the other thing is like a couple of my friends growing up, they loved Hayao Miyazaki like in general. And then this one and Spirited Away were probably like their favorites. So I definitely like watched it a few times like when I was younger. So I don't know. I like stories that just kind of wander a little bit, I think. And aren't quite as linear. So I like that. I like little details that are just kind of like there for fun, almost like even just the character of the fire demon Calcifer. I just find it like a really just an interesting concept. I mean, obviously, like it didn't come from the movie; it came from the book. But like, still.
But still, no. I mean, I know what you mean, and yeah. I think that's a sweet notion. You like a story that wanders. That's really cute. I don't know, like that. I don't, but I think that's sweet that you do.
Yeah, I mean, we all like different things, so it's like it works. But yeah, no, I kind of like that. Just like stories that kind of just. Yeah, flit around, look at like different little, have cute little aspects. Like, oh, this is an interesting thing about this character or whatever. And I don't know.
That's really interesting that you say that because I'm writing that show with Martin, and I'm a person who's like, if it's not story, it fucking goes. Like to me, it's plot, only plot. That's the only thing. We can have things come out of plot, but it has to be moving the ball forward. Like I am obsessive about that. And he's more casual about that. And I thought that kind of was more just inexperienced, but he is also in love with all the Miyazaki films. So maybe it's a sensibility thing. Which I never really considered.
Like,
what's that?
What do you mean sensibility though?
Like, because you just said that. You just said you like a story that wanders. I didn't know anyone likes a story that wanders. To me, it's like to me, it's like if it's not about the story, it's a waste of time and can go. Like I'm like all about story moving forward. That's it. That's all we're here for is the story, and that's it.
Like, to me, like I still kind of see it as part of the story a lot of the times if it's involving the characters, because everything, like to me, the characters drive the story.
Right.
And
I agree.
like if you don't have good characters, but you have a good story, like that's just as bad as not having a good story but having good characters.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I like to, I don't know. I mean, I prefer to see their characterization come out of a product of story.
Right.
You know, because I kind of look at like, oh, this is who this person is. It's almost like having a character explain the plot. You know, but they're like, oh no, if we don't get those cars out of that depot, the whole thing could go up.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and I find I found in a lot of anime too that they do that, which I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
And I try to push through it, but it's like, man, that's just a trope. That's just a storytelling technique in a lot of anime. Which I'm just like,
yeah.
Like they're like the West is like obsessed with. They have like this axiom: show, don't tell, and the Japanese are like, tell, don't show. Got it. It's like, no. They're like, oh, we got it. No. We're gonna have a whole episode where the guy explains what he's thinking for 30 minutes. You're like, that's not what we meant. They're like, we heard you loud and clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like, I don't know, like I watched Naruto for a little while, and like that show, like literally you could have like a 15-minute fight scene, or like you'll have a fight scene that like goes from like one episode to another, and it's just like super long-winded with that. Like,
you told me about Attack on Titan, and and I got really into it for a while, but that was something that they pulled.
I don't think there are any new seasons, right?
I think that there's one more.
I think there were two, and then we were waiting forever for the third one or whatever.
But then they started banging them out. Then they had the third and the fourth, but they got cheap. So, like, what happened was, I mean, something that bugged me about this show, but I was so into it, I was willing to forgive it, was exactly what we were just describing. Like at the end of the first season, I think, like when you figure out that the one girl is a Titan, who's like part of the crew.
Right.
And like, but she's like the best one of all of them. And it's like, oh, she's the blonde girl. Well, you're like, and so the end of that season, excuse me, you're like, oh, we're going to figure out who she is and where she comes from. There's like 3 episodes to go. They're like, not so fast.
Yeah.
We're going to make this whole before a pre-confrontation. She's going to be speaking her thoughts slowly across some slidey movie thing. And he's going to slide across the other side talking about his thoughts. I'm like, what? No, go. Let's go. Let's go to the story.
Yeah. I don't like it to wander that much, because that definitely, especially with that show, they did that a lot. And you're like, wait, answer like the question that you brought up like 5 episodes ago. Like, I want to know about that. Like, we didn't forget that you brought that up. Like,
no. What? Why? What was the memory about with him and his dad and the thing in the basement? I was like,
they like never answered that.
What the fuck?
What was? Oh wait, or was it that? Yeah, no, it's been so long since I watched that show, but I do remember that being just so frustrating. I was like,
that's why I tapped out of the show, because I was like, okay, there's a new season, I'm interested, and it starts off like in the first episode, they're like. In the city, which somehow I guess just gets rebuilt, because every season, like they're like, oh, we're losing the whole city, and then all of a sudden there's like all these new wings of the city. I'm like, this is bigger than you showed us last season. Like they were all destroying it like the first time. Well, no, but they're like about to go out and like fight, and then all of a sudden, all over the city, whoosh, all these bad like. Steampunk Spider-Man show up. It's like a whole gang of like hidden bad guys we didn't know about. I was like, fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah. Why bring like up new?
And what, like all these years they've been battling these Titans, all the loss and stuff. They had no idea This gang was here with all the equipment that you have, which, as I recall, you mentioned was a finite resource, right? They had to find those gas tanks and stuff. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And there's all these guys, and they're just storing them, like twiddling their thumbs while they know how to fight Titans. And no one knew that somehow they got all this training to fight Titans, and no one knew about it. Like, come on. You're just doing that to stall.
Yeah.
Stop fucking stalling. Who are the Titans and where are they from?
Yeah, and I feel like it's like a really it's like a bad execution of them trying to like build tension.
Yes,
so
you're right.
We're like, oh, but wait, what about that one? But it's like they take too long. Like you can't build tension for too long until it's just like I don't care anymore. Like you're never gonna answer my question, and I'm just frustrated.
And it's like, what's gonna happen when you reveal where the Titans are from? It doesn't mean it has to end. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's like a magic switch, you just flick off and it's just like all the Titans just collapse into a heap. Like, but I doubt that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's so much, they're so interesting. Why are there like some super Titans? Why are some like what's up with that? Why are they, who are they? Like, what is the world? Are there other cities? Like, I want to know all that stuff, but they just won't get to it. They just meander and meander. And also Funimation, boy, do they load their runtime on the beginning, like the opening credits and the end credits. They're both like 3 minutes long each.
Oh yeah.
And they got these really dramatic like pop songs.
Well, is that where Castlevania is from? Because it's like the same thing. It'll be like 22, but there's like 3 more minutes left, and it's just end credits.
That's a good point. It's not. It's produced here in the States, but it was done. What's it called? Like with the Japanese style in mind. So maybe that's what he was trying to honor.
Oh,
I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Long ass credits.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I never watch them. Netflix just skips over it automatically. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe do that though, like real quick, like as someone who would be an actor and would, want to be in a movie, because just the fact that like I don't think anyone likes credits, and like I really hate it when movies put them at the beginning. I'm like, fuck you, like you're really gonna do that to me? Like now I gotta skip through the credits, or you're in the theater, you can't skip through them. But at the same time, it's like these were all the people that made the fucking movie. Like they should be like honored, but at the same time, I'm like, I just want to watch the movie. Like,
I think it's a tricky thing, right? Because it's like, it's important. The more I watch movies, the more informative it is to me because I know so many more names. So I'm like, oh, that guy wrote whatever, and that's the editor from such and such. Like I can actually start to connect those dots. You know what I mean? I'm not like an encyclopedic nerd. Like some people know all that shit. To me, that's exhausting. I don't really care to know all that stuff. But sorry, fruit fly. So I do find credits. I do get a lot of information in the credits. I like credits, but there's a artistic way to do it. You know what I mean? If you just have like a rolling credit scene in the beginning before we've gotten into the film and it's like long, that's not really fair to the audience because you haven't earned anyone's interest yet.
Right. I'm like, I don't even know if I like the movie to know if I want to know who made it. Like,
yeah, I might not even keep this on. Like, just get me into it. And like, okay, maybe now because we have so much streaming content, we're a little spoiled, but there's always been TV. There's always been renting things, you know what I mean? Not always, but I mean, for a while that it's like, you have to consider your audience. I think if something came out in the 70s, I mean, Jesus, there's movies that came out like in the 40s where they have an overture in the beginning.
Yeah, that's like all like even like the old Disney movies, like Cinderella. It's like a whole fucking thing.
There's an overture. There's like a 15-minute like orchestral, thing. Yeah. Right.
With like the whole like the whole credit list.
Yeah.
Not just because usually some of them they'll do like, the director and the big actor at the beginning. But like no, they'll do like the whole thing. You're like,
but there's some credit sequences that are quite enjoyable, to be honestly. Like there's a movie I love, Stranger Than Fiction, which stars Will Ferrell. It's just an excellent movie, really sweet, like just adorable. But the credits open up, and they're actually kind of telling the story as the credits kind of open. Like it's really clever. No, I mean like the credits themselves are helping tell the story by being shaped in certain ways and kind of going like, that's genius. And that's a great way, like, because then most people don't know or even care to know all the nuance, like all the depth chart of the movie making crew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People aren't going to start memorizing screenwriters. They don't give a fuck. You know, like, you know, the average person, they don't care. If I started mentioning screenwriters to my dad, he would just go blank.
He's like,
He wouldn't care. And nor should he. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you ask like who the engineer was who made the oil that made your car? No. You know what I mean? But like, it's someone who's a specialist who like really had to work hard.
Yeah, it's like really important for your car too. So you're like,
without that,
run without this, but at the same time, I don't care.
I mean, there's a guy who takes you across the country, you know, a pilot, and you know your life is in his hands for 6 hours. You don't even remember his fucking name.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's not really that unreasonable for people to not care who edited this film. It's not that big of a deal to them. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. It matters to, you know, people who love movies and people who work in movies, but the rest of the people, no. I mean, you just don't torture them with credits. I think it's a great lesson. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. It's also, you're politely sitting through them, really.
Yeah.
Especially if a movie's anything other than that came out in 5 years, because if it's 10, 15, 20 years ago, you know, most of these people aren't working anymore. They might not be alive. You know what I mean? Which is like, how much do I need all this information right now? You know, like when
they're making the movie, they're making it for right now. So
I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I have 7% battery life.
Oh no!
So we've got like 5 minutes, maybe.
Do a lightning round of questions.
Really quick. Just really quick.
Okay, well, good. Thanks for the heads up. I mean, I guess we got about to an hour. It's short for us, but you know, Lindsey was ill prepared today.
I am always ill prepared. Thank you very much.
That's my charm. Is being prepared.
It is. Me. Me? No, I just don't know. What
favorite part of Howl's Moving Castle?
Favorite part?
Yeah, because I think it's right that this movie gets appropriately praised. Just because I didn't like it doesn't mean.
That's a tough one. I actually am like having a hard time with like exact scenes. I don't know. It's just kind of fun in general when she's like with him in the castle and they're kind of like, I don't know, just like wandering, you know, for a little bit or whatever they're doing.
That's interesting.
It's just cute.
Look, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just for me, like if there's no stakes, I can't really get invested. It's just that's not, you know, like did you see Coco? The kids movie with the Mexican kid.
Actually, yeah, because my little niece loved it, so she had to watch it one night, and I watched it with her.
I mean, that's cute, but I just there's just no stakes in that story. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there kind of is. It's like what the grandfather. They all find out that this really famous guy was actually only famous because of his grandfather, who he then killed.
Oh, I understand that. But
it's very high stakes. And then the kid
it isn't.
Might die. Yeah, no, he might stay in the dead land. Remember that?
Yeah, but they resolve that like almost immediately. I watched the movie. Like, so he goes over and you're like, oh, okay. So the story is the kid has got to get back in time, you know, but then he meets his family and that's all dead. That's not a problem. And it's like, oh, he's going to run away from his family. Okay, those are the stakes. But then that's resolved almost immediately too. And then you're like, oh, the dad isn't really good. He's bad. And then that's resolved immediately. I'm like, there's no fucking stakes in this film. You need to have danger for your protagonist for the movie to work.
There was some danger.
Very little, not enough. Look, if what's his face doesn't find Nemo, okay? Nemo's fucked. right?
Oh,
He lives so those are stakes.
That was
Those are
good.
stakes. He's got to get across the whole ocean, right, to save his son from living in an aquarium for the rest of his life. That's stakes. And he navigates sharks and jellyfish and all this crazy shit to save his son because those are stakes. I don't find it interesting if there's nothing to risk.
I love that Finding Nemo is actually one of the best movies of the past.
I cried at Finding Nemo, and I was like 18. Like I wasn't like comfortable with my emotions. Like I smoked a joint. I smoked a blunt. My mom. It was so funny because like my sister's like, "Hey, you should watch this movie," and I was like, "Okay, I'll watch it." And I sat down. I looked at this animated cover, and I was like, I go upstairs. I'm like, "Liz, are you sure?" And she goes, "No, Matt, you'll like it." And my mom was standing there and she goes, No, Matt. And then her boyfriend was on speakerphone. He's like, No, dude, trust me, you should watch it. So I was like, all right. So I rolled myself a blunt. I put Xanax on it. I smoked half of it and I got nice and toasty. And like almost as soon as it started, I was like, oh, I like this. Like I like the colors, but it was really good. It's a vivid film. And then like I smoked the rest of it the second halfway through. And I swear to God, at the end, like when they connect, I found Nemo. When what's her name finds, I cried. Like I just got emotional. Yeah. Like it was such a relief that they finally connected. And there was just so much going on. The stakes were so high.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's a very good movie.
Very good movie.
Well, on that note, we should just watch Finding Nemo for next week. No, just kidding.
I don't know if that's exactly on brand, madam.
All right. Well, I'll do my little sign off. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate everyone, every single view, every minute that's spent watching me and Lindsey and me and anybody or just me talk shit about movies. It's really fun. Thank you guys so much. Please, if you haven't, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to check out Lindsey's channel where she talks about kittens and microgreens. It's on the rise. It's doing really, really well. So just look out her channel.
It doesn't even exist. There's not even a channel.
It doesn't? Oh, well, it will exist. So just keep an eye out for that.
It will not.
Lindsey, would you like to say goodnight to the people?
Yes. Good night. Don't listen to him.
Listen to me. Listen to Luke and me.
You can listen to Luke. Hi, Loki.
Hi, Lucas.
Hi, kitty. He's like
this is
so irritated right now. Look at him.
No, he's so fluffy, fuzzy. He's the one who came over to me and mewed. So if he don't want to get picked up, I don't know what he wants from me.
He wants food.
I feed the cat. How dare you?
He's not fatty. He just wants to keep eating.
He is.
That's how my cat is. She's like Friskies. That wet food. She's like,
give me that good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Okay. Well, that'll do it for us. Join us next week when we talk more shit about things. Bye.
Bye.